What's up, guys? Welcome to today's video. Hope you guys are all having a great weekend so far. It's currently Sunday morning for me right now, 8:30 in the morning. Today's video is going to be uploaded a little bit later today. I actually have a pretty busy day today, so I wanted to knock this video out earlier. I'm actually going to be going to the house that I'm going to be talking about right now, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of demo work. There's a little bit of trash left, and I'm going to bring my notebook with me, and we're just going to do the final kind of walkthrough before we actually do fully start the renovations. We've already done a little bit of renovations, which I'll talk about, but we're going to get the full scope of work today and really kind of break down every single thing that we plan on doing with this property. This is the Chandler property. This is the $550,000 purchase price. So today's video, I'm going to be running the numbers, going into a little bit more in depth on the renovations that we're doing and talking about some of the potential profit margins, the rev split as well, because we have a pretty unique rev split or profit split with this property. So I'm going to break down how that happened as well. With that being said, let's jump right into it. This is where we're at right now, guys. Property, this is in Chandler, Arizona. Chandler is actually the city right next to where I live. It's about a 15-minute drive from actually where I live, which is the closest flip that we've ever had. So I've actually been to this property multiple times, and I love it being so close because it's so much easier to drive here as opposed to the one that we had in North Phoenix a couple months ago to the one that we currently have in Goodyear right now. We picked this property up June 1st. Our projected timeline on this property is actually going to be a fairly quick one just because the scope of work. At least right now, we don't plan on doing a whole lot to it. This is just going to be a little cosmetic touch-up lipstick. We're definitely not going to get top dollar for this property, but we're well aware of that. We're just trying to get this one back on the market, clean it up, have it sellable, and hopefully we get someone that wants to do their own renovations to it. What's really cool about this partner that we have rev split on, he was the one that actually found us the deal, and he actually found this client. He has a Vietnamese magazine where he has a little segment each and every month he spends. I think he said he spends about $300 on that a month, and he actually gets a lot of seller leads. So he actually brought this deal to us because instead of listing the house as a real estate agent, which is what he does, this specific seller wanted a cash offer. So that's actually exactly what happened. We picked it up for $550,000. We think the ARV on it is $650,000. We're gonna have to run the ARVs a little bit later just because we're not gonna get this thing in like tip-top condition like I mentioned. Total cash to close is $553,000. We actually paid every single closing costs for this seller right here. So the agreement was instead of splitting escrow fees, which happens oftentimes in a normal transaction where you're going to split the escrow, we had to pay for absolutely everything in this closing, which ended up being a little bit more than what we normally do. And he actually netted $550,000. So that was the agreement. He's like, I want $550,000 flat. That's what I want to come out of the deal with. I don't want to pay anything else over that. We covered every single thing on the closing, which was $3,138. So we went to Home Depot. We got some small materials. I actually had to pick up a couple lock boxes as well. So that's what the Home Depot thing is. Landscaping. This was by far the most expensive landscaping we've ever had at a property before. We had to cut down 3 major trees, which were actually going into the neighbor's yard, and they were actually protruding into the house that we purchased as well. So it did cause a little bit of roof damage. I do have some pictures. I'll throw some pictures up on the video as well for you guys so you guys can see the extent of damage. The previous owner completely neglected the property, I'm sure, as you guys saw from the previous walkthrough video. It's a little bit upsetting. It's a very expensive house, but he just kind of gave up on it like years and years ago, it felt like, because those trees have been growing there for years. Like, he didn't even bother doing any sort of landscape. So we had to spend $6,500. There was 3 crews out there of like 5 people each. So there's like, at certain times last week, we had 5 to 10 to 15 landscapers over there working. It took them 3 days to do this entire landscape. Trash removal, you guys saw how dirty that house was. It ended up being $1,000. And then exterior paint, it was $2,800. We got a smoking deal on this exterior paint. We had to get HOA approval. We had to do HOA approval color scheme. They only gave us like 5 or 6 schemes. And the thing is with HOAs is most of the houses, or most of the time, and depending on the HOA, is They give you like 5 or 6 schemes, first of all, and then on top of that, you're not allowed to match any of your side-by-side neighbors, so that eliminates 2 colorways right there as well. So you're really only stuck with like a couple options. It's nice because you don't have like a lot of decision making to do because they only give you like a certain amount of colors, but at the same time, you have no creative freedom. You can't really get that pop or that wow factor from the curb because every single house pretty much looks the same. So as you guys will see, I'll throw a picture up as well. All the houses in this neighborhood look the exact same, unlike like a North Phoenix house where there's no HOA, where we can go a little bit more creative with the color schemes and have a good little curb appeal on it. That's just not the case here. The rest of the quotes that you guys will see are just soft quotes, estimated quotes. $3,600 for interior paint. We're going to do all the interior, which is about a 3,400 square foot house. The roofing, we actually did get a quote on this. He said it was going to be $800 for labor and about $800 to $900 in material. So we just estimated $1,000 just for cushion for material. So that's $1,800. Strictly because of the tree damage and the debris on there from it not being cleaned whatsoever. So that's just, this could have all been prevented if he kept up with his landscaping. Deep clean. This is going to be a very expensive deep clean because it hasn't been cleaned for years. That house has so much buildup. Oh, it's just disgusting, that house right now. Once we get new fresh coat of paint in there, it'll start looking a lot better, smelling a lot better as well. Pool cleaning. That pool had gotten absolutely destroyed from the landscapers, so we're going to have to get a pool guy out there, and we're also going to have to do some routine maintenance with it until we sell the house, so that's going to be a pretty penny. I estimated $500. It might be a little bit more, to be honest with you. One thing that we're doing, strictly cosmetic, is we're going to remove all the light fixtures in the house, all the fans in the house. We're going to replace them with just new, updated, modern looking ones. We're going to remove every single door handle in the house as well. We do this at every single property. It just has a great ROI onto it. Replacing all the door handles because they're all gold right now. It's just a super simple thing to do. It takes a day to go and fix it yourself. I'm probably actually going to go out there and replace all those once the painters are done. So that'll be $2,000. I heard the cooktop was broken. This is one thing. We actually did not do an inspection on this property. We definitely should have. Someone was living there. It looked really, really good from when we walked through it. We didn't really do a really thorough, like we didn't go on the roof or anything, so we actually didn't notice any of the extent of the damage that all the landscaping did until we actually closed on the property. So we probably could have gotten an inspection on there. It wouldn't have changed anything. One of the reasons why we did not do it is because there's no way of negotiating with this seller. He was very, very stubborn. The only reason why we would have done an inspection is because if there was a huge issue, that would have just canceled the entire deal altogether. But there's no way we're negotiating on this. The cooktop I heard was broken though, so we're going to have to spend about $750 on that. Carpet, my estimation is all the upstairs is going to need to get carpeted, and then all the bedrooms as well. We're not going to bother with trying to get new flooring in there. We're just going to throw a carpet over it. So $2,000 to $2,500. $25 is a little conservative. Handyman labor is probably going to be about $2,000, and then miscellaneous. The reason why I have a big miscellaneous budget right now is because I'm still unsure on the extent of renovations we're doing with this property. It's a very difficult one to really figure out what we want to do because we can spend $80,000 on this property and make it look beautiful, but we're just trying to find the fine line in between making it sellable and then putting in way too much money, and we're way too far over our heads on this because we don't have a lot of margin in this. To be completely honest with you, this is, from my perspective right now, this is one of the tightest margins that we've had on a property in a very, very long time. Just because of the sell price of it, we're getting up there where it's going to be pretty expensive. You're going to have a very specific buyer. It's a big house at 3,400 square feet, so it's most likely, I can almost guarantee it's not going to be a first-time home buyer. So it is going to be very tight. It's a little bit higher risk compared to pretty much any of the other ones that we've done before, besides our Paradise Valley mansion that we have listed at $3.8 million right now. So it's a very high-risk property, so we really have to be careful on how much money we pour into it, but we also want to make sure that it's in a good enough condition for someone to actually buy the property. So we're in right now, estimated at $25,919. We set a budget for about $30,000 on here. I'm happy with this $5,000 cushion because that $5,000 will most likely get eaten up very, very fast once we start discovering more problems or more things that we want to fix onto it. So right now, I think we're in a comfortable spot with our renovation budget. Once we walk through it later today, I'll have a better idea onto it, but I just wanted to update you guys. Holding costs are going to be a little bit more expensive too. There's 3 AC units here, so our electric bill is probably going to be pretty high. Our insurance is $126 a month. Water and trash bill, no idea what that's going to be. It's not going to be anything insane, probably $120 a month maybe. So yeah. And then our breakdown, let me get right down here. Our profit split, because our business partner on this deal, or our partner on this deal, found it, we agreed to give him 33% profit split. He has no money of it. He has none of his own money tied up in this property. We're funding the entire deal. He brought us the deal. That makes the deal even tighter to have someone else take 33% of the profit margins. He could have definitely have listed this house on the MLS and probably made around the same amount of money from his listing commission onto it. So that's why we came up with 33% onto it. And then Ricky and I, as an LLC, have 66% profit into this property. Okay, so I just did a little update for you guys. I completely forgot to actually run the numbers onto it. So if we have $30,000 in renovation, $2,000 in holding costs, which is a little bit conservative because we don't really plan on holding this very long, so it's probably going to be closer to $1,000, to be honest with you. You guys know by now I like to be very conservative with my numbers. $553,000 purchase price, closing costs estimated at $28,000. This is because we agreed to let or allow our partner on this deal, he's a listing agent too. He's going to list it for us, and he's only charging us $500 to list it as opposed to like a percent. So I agreed on that. It was fine with me. We're probably going to give the buyer's agent 2.5 to 3%. In this price point, it might be a little bit better to give them the higher commission at 3%, to give them a little bit more incentive. Most of the time, I would just say give them 2.5% in today's market, because it's so much easier to it's so easy. There's so many buyers out here that you can get away with lower commissions as a real estate agent. Unfortunately, that's how it is right now. I rarely see 3% commissions anymore, where a year ago, like when I first started being an agent, or when I first started out, we saw so many 3% commissions, and even earlier than that, like it was almost unheard of to go lower than 3%. But now I'm seeing 2 to 2.5% commissions all the time, just because of how fast the market's moving. So we estimated $28,000, which puts our total expenses at $613,000. Totaling, if we sell this for $650,000, $36,862. Seems like a lot, but the actual percentage of the purchase price is way lower than what we thought. But the percentage of the actual purchase price is way lower than what we normally take. Like if this was a $300,000 house and we're making $36,000 on it, that would be great. It's over 10%. But we're putting in $600,000 to get $36,000, so it's a little bit higher risk for sure. And then we have a rev split as well, which is taking another $12,000 away from the profit. Now, this house can very, very well go for $675,000. I know Zillow and Redfin estimates, which you never want to pay attention to those estimates, but there are upwards of $700,000 for this property. So we really, when we actually go to list it in 2 to 3 weeks from now, we really have to be specific and be sure we're listing at the price we want to list it at. Granted, we probably could get $700,000 for this property, $675,000 for this property, but we're getting into that price point again where once we get even that high, we're narrowing down our demographic, and then we're going to have renovations of $60,000, $70,000, and we're going to have holding costs of another 30 to 45 days on it. I'll keep you guys updated, obviously. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really, really do appreciate it. Be sure to drop a like. It really helps the video, guys. It helps the video out. I do appreciate it, guys. And let me know if you guys have any video suggestions or comments down below. I am a licensed real estate agent here in the Arizona area. If you guys are looking to buy or sell real estate here, message me or email me down below. My email will be right down there. I'll see you guys soon.